Welcome to AITA Stories, where every family secret comes to light. Subscribe for more. I'm Sarah, 42, and I work as a registered nurse at our local hospital in small-town Ohio. I've been married to my husband Michael for 18 years, and we have two amazing kids, Jake, 16, and Emma, 14. We're active in our church community, and I've always prided myself on building an honest, God-fearing family based on trust and open communication. Our life seemed picture-perfect. Michael runs a successful auto repair shop. The kids are honor roll students and star athletes. And his mother, Dorothy, was like the mom I never had. She helped with carpools, never missed a school play, and everyone in town called her Saint Dorothy. She was the kind of grandmother who had fresh-baked cookies waiting after school and never forgot a birthday. The only shadow over our happiness was the tragedy from our first year of marriage. Our firstborn, Alex, was born premature at 32 weeks and, according to Dorothy, died from complications after 5 days in the NICU. She told me she handled the funeral arrangements while I was recovering from emergency surgery. The death certificate was supposedly lost in a hospital records fire, and our insurance claim was processed through her as next of kin since I was hospitalized. Everything changed 3 months ago when Jake needed genetic testing for a potential heart condition that runs in Michael's family. Dorothy became unusually agitated whenever I asked about family medical history, constantly deflecting or changing the subject. Then I overheard her on the phone with her sister saying, "Sarah can never know the truth about Alex. It would destroy this family." When confronted, she claimed she meant a different Alex, a distant cousin who died in Vietnam. My nursing background kicked in. I started quietly investigating medical records. The NICU had no record of any infant death matching our information during that time frame. The chaplain who'd supposedly performed the funeral service had no record of it. Even the cemetery had no burial plot registered. 2 weeks ago, Dorothy suffered a massive heart attack and was admitted to my hospital. During post-surgical delirium, she started talking. "Alex, forgive me, Alex. I thought it was best, foster care. He was so tiny. They said he'd never be normal." As her attending nurse, I documented everything. When I read my own notes later, my world collapsed. Michael swore he knew nothing. He was deployed overseas with the National Guard when Alex was born. I hired a private investigator who found the truth within 48 hours. Alex is alive. He's been in the Ohio foster care system his entire life, bouncing between homes. Dorothy had told Child Protective Services that both parents had died in a car accident, and she was too elderly to care for a special needs infant. Dorothy passed away from a second heart attack without regaining consciousness. Our entire church, over 200 people, gathered for her funeral. Person after person spoke about what a saint she was, how she devoted her life to helping children, how she was the pillar of our community. I couldn't take it anymore. During open testimony time, I stood up and said, "Dorothy Peterson hid from me for 15 years that my firstborn son is alive. My son Alex has been in foster care his entire life, believing his parents are dead, while I've been mourning him and she's been praised as a saint." The silence was deafening. Then chaos erupted. Church members gasped. Some shouted that I was desecrating sacred ground. Others demanded proof. Michael broke down sobbing. The pastor had to call for order. The next day, we drove to the group home where Alex lives. He looks exactly like Jake did at that age. Same green eyes, same stubborn cowlick. The DNA test confirmed what we already knew: our son. Alex is brilliant, but deeply traumatized. He's been in 12 different foster homes, aged out of several, and has severe trust issues. At 15, he's preparing to age out of the system entirely when he turns 18. He's never had a permanent family, never celebrated Christmas morning in the same house twice. The legal process to bring him home is complex. Parental rights were never properly terminated since Dorothy lied about her deaths. We need lawyers, court hearings, psychological evaluations. The state is investigating how Dorothy manipulated the system. Our community is split down the middle. Half the congregation thinks I'm a monster who destroyed a saintly woman's memory. They've started a whisper campaign about how I always resented Dorothy's place in the family. The other half is horrified, organizing meal trains and offering support. Our pastor asked us to take some time away from church leadership roles until things settle down. Emma's been bullied at school, with kids calling me a liar and a grave dancer. Jake got suspended for fighting someone who said Alex wasn't really our son. My sister-in-law blocked us on all social media and won't let her kids visit anymore. Michael's brother, a family court judge, has been helping us navigate the legal system but caught flack from other family members for taking sides. Alex is living in a transitional home while we complete the reunification process. Last weekend, for the first time in 15 years, I heard him laugh, really laugh, when Jake showed him old family videos on his phone. He asked quietly, "Would have been different if I'd been here." Everyone says I shouldn't have spoken up at the funeral, that I should have honored Dorothy's memory and kept family business private. The church board suggested I was overcome with grief and not thinking clearly. Some say I should have just let sleeping dogs lie. But I can't live with this lie anymore. My son spent 15 years believing he was abandoned, cycling through foster homes, while we grieved a child who was alive and needed us. Doesn't he deserve the truth? Don't I, as his mother, deserve to know my child survived? The hardest part? Dorothy kept photos of Alex from his foster care placements. We found them in her house, pictures of our son at every birthday, every Christmas, every milestone we missed. She knew exactly where he was and watched him grow up from a distance while we mourned. AITA for destroying my mother-in-law's funeral with the truth about my living son? Update 1 week later. The court approved supervised visits while we complete the reunification process. Alex came to dinner Sunday night, his first family meal in 15 years. Emma made his favorite cookies. She stalked his Instagram, and he actually smiled. Small victories. Update 2 weeks later. Found Dorothy's journal in her hope chest. She wrote that after the first year, she didn't know how to undo the lie. She convinced herself Alex was better off in the system than with young, unprepared parents. She sent anonymous donations to his foster families every Christmas. Michael cried for hours reading it. Update 1 month later. Alex moved in permanently yesterday. He's scared but hopeful. The first thing he asked for was his own key to the house. He's never had that before. The church is slowly coming around. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's still the truth. This American adaptation incorporates key cultural elements that resonate with U.S. audiences. The foster care system instead of orphanages, church community dynamics, small-town social structures, legal processes familiar to Americans, and the emphasis on individual rights versus family loyalty that defines many American family value debates.